Chapter 1 Ecology. Ecology oikos meaning home or place to live in, and logos meaning study. Literally, it is the study of the home of nature. Ecology is defined as scientific study of the relationship of the living organisms with each other and with their environment. It is scientific study of the relationship of the living organisms with each other and with their environment. It deals with the ways in which organisms are molded or framed by their environment, how they make use of environmental resources including energy flow and mineral cycling. History of ecology. The roots of ecology lie in natural history, which is as old as human civilization itself. Since early history, man has indulged in ecology in a practical sort of way, knowingly and unknowingly. In primitive societies, every individual was required to have an intimate knowledge of his environment for their survival. That is, about the forces of nature and of plants and animals around him. Our ancient Indian texts have references to ecological principles. The classical texts of Vedic period, such as the Vedas, the Samhitas, the Brahmanas, and the Aranyakas, Upanishads, contain many references to ecological concepts. The Indian treatise on medicine, the Charaka Samhita, and the surgical text Sushruta Samhita show that people during this period had a good understanding of plant and animal ecology. This text contains classification of animals on the basis of habit and habitat, land in terms of nature of soil, climate and vegetation, and description of plants typical to various localities. Charaka Samhita contains information that air, land, water and seasons were indispensable for life, and that polluted air and water were injurious to health. So environment and its component. Everything that surrounds or affects an organism during its lifetime is collectively known as its environment. Okay, the environment is defined as the sum total of living, non-living components, influences and events surrounding an organism. It is defined as what? Sum total of living and non-living components, influences and events surrounding an organism. And all organisms from virus to man are obligatorily dependent on the other organism. Compulsorily they have to depend, no choice, and environment for food, energy, water, oxygen, shelter and for other needs. The relationship and interaction between organism and environment are highly complex. It comprises both living, biotic and non-living abiotic components. The environment is not static, okay? Both biotic and abiotic factors are in flux and keeps changing continuously. So components of environment are biotic and biotic. Abiotic are energy, radiation, temperature and heat flow, water, atmospheric gases and wind, fire, gravity, topography, soil, geological substratum. And then biotic are green plants, non-green plants, decomposers, parasites, symbionts, animals and men. What are symbionts? You know that those are actually organisms which live in a symbiotic relationship. So it's a relationship where two or more species live closely together. There are three types of symbiosis: mutualism, commensalism and parasitism. Mutualism, here both the organisms benefit when they have a symbiotic relationship among them, and in commensalism one benefits, the other has no effect, and parasitism is one benefits and the other is harmed. Okay, so this is the thing. Then for now let's take the environment of fish in the pond. Here we will see how the component of environment. External environment of fish. Its environment consists of abiotic components such as light, temperature, including the water in which nutrients, oxygen, other gases, and organic matter are dissolved. The biotic environment consists of microscopic organisms called plankton. So plankton are microscopic organisms. They are diverse collection of organisms that live in large bodies of water and they are unable to swim, okay, against the current. So this kind of are plankton. This is the thing. So they assume as well as aquatic plants, animals, and decomposers. These are biotic environment. Then an internal environment of fish. It is enclosed by the outer body surface. The internal environment is relatively stable as compared to the external environment. However, it is not absolutely constant. Injury, illness, or excessive stress upsets the internal environment. For example, if a marine fish is transferred to a freshwater environment, it will not be able to survive. So this is the thing. Now, levels of organisms in ecology. The main levels of organization of ecology are six. Okay, individual, population hai, community, ecosystem, biome, and biosphere. So, ecological organization. Individual. Organism is an individual living being that has the ability to act or function independently. It may be plant, animal, bacterium, fungi, etc. It is a body made up of organs or organelles or a part or other parts that work together to carry out the various processes of life. Then population. Population is a group of organisms, usually of the same species, occupying a defined area during a specific time. Population growth rate is the percentage variation between the number of individuals in a population at two different times. Therefore, the population growth rate can be positive or negative. Okay, it is actually the variation between a number of individuals at two different times. Okay, the main factors that make population increase are birth and immigration, and the main factors that make population decrease are death and immigration. Okay, so that is the thing. Like your birth, see this is the population, births and immigration है, birth और immigration जो है it is actually adding to it, and death and immigration जो है it is reducing. So the main limiting factors for the growth of population are abiotic and biotic components. So population density is the relation between the number of individuals of a population and the area they occupy. So it is a measurement of population per unit area. Even for human beings, it's the population density same, measurement of population per unit area. Okay, community. If we look around ourselves, we will notice that population of plants and animals seldom occur by themselves. Okay, rarely it occur by themselves. The reason for this is quite obvious. In order to survive, individuals of any one species depend on individuals of different species with which they actively interact in several ways. For example, animals require plants for food, okay, and trees for shelter. Plants require animals for pollination, seed dispersal, and soil microorganism to facilitate nutrient supply. Communities in most instances are named after the dominant plant species. This is, for example, grassland community is dominated by grasses. So in that case, mostly it is named after the dominant plant species. Whatever the community is, like the grassland community is dominated by grasses, so it is grassland community. Though it may contain herbs, shrubs and trees along with associated animals of different species. A community is not fixed or rigid. Communities may be large or small. Then types of community. On the basis of size and degree of relative independence, communities may be divided into two types, major community and minor community. So these are major communities जो है, these are large size, well organized and relatively independent. They depend only on the sun's energy from outer side and are independent of inputs and output from the adjacent communities like tropical evergreen forest, those are independent ones. And minor communities, these are depend on neighboring communities and are often called societies. They are secondary aggregations within a major community and are not therefore completely independent units as far as energy and nutrient dynamics are concerned. A mat of lichen on a cow dung pad. Okay, lichen, you know this, it is a composite organism that emerges from algae or cyanobacteria living among the filaments of fungi in a mutually beneficial symbiotic relationship, the symbiosis we have seen before. Now, structure of community. Okay, in a community, the number of species and size of their population vary greatly. A community may have one or several species. Okay, the environmental factors determine the characteristics of the community as well as the pattern of organization of the members in the community. Characteristic pattern of the community is termed as structure, which is reflected in the roles played by various population, their range, the type of area they inhabit, the diversity of species in the community, and the spectrum of interactions between them. Now, ecosystem. An ecosystem is defined as a structural and functional unit of biosphere consisting of community of living beings and the physical environment, both interacting and exchanging materials between them. It includes plants, trees, animals, fish, birds, microorganisms, water, soil, and people. Okay, this consists of community of living beings. So these are the communities. Okay, both interacting and exchanging materials between them. Ecosystems vary greatly in size and element, but each is a functioning unit of nature. Everything that lives in an ecosystem is dependent on other species and elements that are also part of the ecological community. If one part of an ecosystem is damaged or disappears, it has an impact on everything else. When an ecosystem is healthy, that is sustainable, it means that all the elements live in balance and are capable of reproducing themselves. Ecosystem can be as small as a single tree or as large as the entire forest. So what is the difference between ecology, environment and ecosystem? See, ecology what it is? It is the study of interaction. It is the study of interaction between organisms and their surroundings. And these organisms and surroundings occur in an ecosystem or environment. जो interaction होता है organisms के बीच में और organisms and surroundings के बीच में, that is the ecology. It is that study. And these organisms and surrounding, they actually occur in an ecosystem or environment. So ecosystem, it is a functional unit of environment, that for example biosphere. Okay, and environment is a group of ecosystem. Okay, understood? Environment, it is a group of ecosystem, and ecosystem is a functional unit of environment. And ecology, what it is the study of interaction between organisms and their surrounding. Now, components of ecosystem. The components of ecosystem and environment are same. Abiotic components. Abiotic components are the inorganic and non-living parts of the world. Okay, inorganic means not deriving from living matter. And organic, it is deriving from living matters. So inorganic and non-living parts of the world are abiotic components. The abiotic part consists of soil, water, air, and light, energy, etc. It also involves chemicals like oxygen, nitrogen, etc. and physical processes including volcanoes, earthquakes, floods, forest fires, climates, and weather conditions. Abiotic factors are the most important determinants of where and how well an organism exists in its environment. Although these factors interact with each other, one single factor can limit the range of an organism. Energy. Energy from the sun is essential for maintenance of life. In the case of plants, the sun directly supplies the necessary energy. Since animals cannot use solar energy directly, they obtain it indirectly by eating plants or animals or both. Okay, energy determines the distribution of organisms in the environment. Now, rainfall. Water is essential for all living beings. Majority of biochemical reactions take place in an aqueous medium. Water helps to regulate body temperature. Further, water bodies form the habitat for many aquatic plants and animals. Then the temperature. Okay, these are the abiotic components we are studying. So temperature is a critical factor of the environment which greatly influences survival of organisms. Organisms can tolerate only a certain range of temperature and humidity. Atmosphere. The Earth's atmosphere is responsible for creating conditions suitable for the existence of healthy biosphere on this planet. Then substratum. Land is covered by soil and a wide variety of microbes, protozoa, fungi, and small animals, invertebrates thrive in it. Roots of plants pierce through the soil to absorb water and nutrients. Organisms can be terrestrial or aquatic. Terrestrial animals live on land. Aquatic plants, animals, and microbes live in fresh water as well as in the sea. Some microbes live even in hot water vents under the sea. Okay. Then materials. Organic compounds जो है such as proteins, carbohydrates, lipids. Okay, the lipids like fats, oils, these are collectively called lipids. Humic substances. Humic substances means those organic compounds that are important components of humus. Major organic fraction of soil, peat, and coal. Okay, these are humic substances found in humus are formed from inorganic component decomposition. Inorganic compounds such as carbon dioxide, water, sulfur, nitrates, phosphates, and ions of various metals are essential for organisms to survive. Okay, carbon dioxide, sulfur, phosphates, these are also essential for organisms to survive. Then latitude and altitude. See, latitude has a strong influence on an area's temperature, resulting in change of climate such as polar, tropical, and temperate. These climates determine different natural biomes. Okay, this is the thing. So these are climatic zones, latitudes. Here there is equator, which is the in which falls the tropical zone. See, which is in red color. This is the tropical zone, and then subtropical zone, the yellow one. Okay, that is above equator. So it is above the tropics. Then here it is temperate, then polar. So it is a latitude which has a strong influence on area's temperature. From sea level to highest peaks, wildlife is influenced by altitude. As the altitude increases, the air becomes colder. Even in the higher, even from wherever you find mountains, hills, as the altitude increases, the air becomes colder. Okay, and drier, affecting wildlife accordingly. So it is the case. Then biotic components. Biotic components include living organisms comprising plants, animals, and microbes, and are classified according to their functional attributes into producers and consumers. What are those their functions? In that way they are classified like producer and consuming. Okay, so primary producers, that is autotrophs, self-nourishing. Primary producers are basically green plants and certain bacteria and algae. They synthesize carbohydrate from simple inorganic raw materials like carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight by the process of photosynthesis for themselves and supply indirectly to other non-producers also. In terrestrial ecosystem, producers are basically herbaceous and woody plants, while in aquatic ecosystem, producers are various species of microscopic algae also. Okay. Then consumers. Consumers are heterotrophs or phagotrophs, other nourishing. Consumers are incapable of producing their own food, okay, through photosynthesis. They depend on organic food derived from plants, animals, or both. Consumers can be divided into two broad groups, namely micro and macro consumers. So macro consumers, what those are? They feed on plants or animals or both, and are categorized on the basis of their food sources. Herbivores are primary consumers which feed mainly on plants, for example, cow, rabbit. So we are looking into consumers which are macro, okay, the big one. Then secondary consumers feed on primary consumers like wolves. Carnivores which feed on secondary consumers are called tertiary consumers. See this one, carnivores, for example, lion which can eat wolves, okay, wolves which eat rabbits is a secondary, and rabbit is the primary because it is a vegetarian one. Okay, it's herbivorous. Now omnivorous are organisms which consume both plants and animals, for example, man and monkey. Okay. And then is micro consumers, saprotrophs or decomposers or osmotrophs. These are micro consumers, so they are called as saprotrophs. They are actually bacteria and fungi which obtain energy and nutrients by decomposing dead organic substances of plants and animal origin. Okay, the product of decomposition, Okay, such as inorganic nutrients which are released in the ecosystem are reused by producers and thus recycled. Earthworm and certain soil organisms such as nematodes and arthropods are detritus feeders and help in the decomposition of organic matter and are called detrivores. Okay, detritus यानी waste जो है waste और debris जो है they are feeders, okay, earthworm and help in decomposition of organic matter and are called detritivore. Okay, which feeds on dead or organic material. Then classification of ecosystem. Okay, terrestrial and aquatic. So terrestrial contains forest, grasslands, deserts, aquatic, freshwater, saline water, marine water. The detailed study of ecosystem will be dealt in subsequent chapters. Now ecosystems are capable of maintaining their state of equilibrium. Okay, they can regulate their own species structure and functional processes. This capacity of ecosystem of self-regulation is known as homeostasis. Okay, this is the thing, homeostasis. Natural ecosystems are often incredibly sensitive to change, such as the introduction or removal of species. A healthy ecosystem is said to be in equilibrium, which is relatively stable state that keeps population sizes with a sustainable range. Not too many of certain species live or dead. So ecosystem homeostasis is equilibrium, or it is a balance of the organism in an ecosystem. Okay, it is a balance of organism in an ecosystem. This means the population of species in the ecosystem are relatively stable. For example, population of huge number of species are decreasing rapidly due to human causes like climate change and deforestation. So this is the case. Homeostasis, it is actually maintaining balance. Then goods and services provided by ecosystem include provision of food, fuel and fiber, provision of shelter and building materials. These are goods provided by ecosystem. Purification of air and water, detoxification and decomposition of waste, detoxification and removal of toxic substances. Okay. Then stabilization and modernization of Earth's climate. Okay, moderation of floods, droughts, temperature extremes, and the forces of wind. Then generation and renewal of soil fertility, including nutrient cycling, pollination of plants, including many crops, control of pests and diseases. Then maintenance of genetic resources, the key inputs to crop varieties and livestock breeds, medicines and other products. Cultural and aesthetic benefits. For aesthetic benefits like beauty, it's adding to the nature. Okay, so it adds to the beauty of the nature. Then ecotone. Ecotone is a zone of junction between two or more diverse ecosystem. For example, the mangrove forest represents an ecotone between marine and terrestrial ecosystem. Other examples are grassland, estuary and riverbank. So here it is land ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem, here the mangrove forest. It's a marshland, it gives an ecotone. This is the ecotone. It's a junction between two or more diverse ecosystem. That is ecotone. Okay. So an estuary is a partially enclosed coastal body of brackish water with one or more rivers or streams flowing into it, and with a free connection to the open sea. Estuaries form a transition zone between river environments and maritime environments known as ecotone. As like mangroves, estuaries also form a transition zone between river environment and maritime environments. Okay? And what is estuary? It is a partly enclosed coastal body of brackish water with one or more rivers or streams flowing into it. See, these are the estuaries. So this one is for the mangrove forest represent an ecotone between marine and terrestrial ecosystem, जैसे grassland, estuary and river bank are also there. So characteristics of ecotone. So it may be very narrow also or quite wide also. It has a condition intermediate. Okay, it has a condition intermediate to the adjacent ecosystem. Hence, it is a zone of tension. Okay, intermediate, coming between two things. It is coming between two things. For that reason, it can be a zone of tension also. It is a linear as it shows progressive increase in species composition of one incoming community and a simultaneous decrease in species of the other outgoing adjoining community. Okay. A well-developed ecotones contain some organisms which are entirely different from that of the adjoining communities. Sometimes the number of species and the population density of some of the species is much greater in this zone than either community. This is called edge effect. The organisms which occur primarily or most abundantly in this zone are known as edge species. In the terrestrial ecosystem, edge effect is especially applicable to birds. Okay, here the number of species and the population density of some of the species is much greater in this zone than in the community. This is called edge effect. And so other community it will be less. Okay, if it is somewhere it is high, though in other condition it will be low. So the organisms which occur primarily or most abundantly in this zone are known as edge species. For example, the density of birds. Okay, this is the thing. And edge species refers to animals that are evolutionarily distinct and globally endangered. This is another term for edge. The species are considered to be of one kind and it is suggests nearing extinction and trying to preserve. So this is the case. A niche. Niche is the unique functional role or place of a species in an ecosystem. It is a description of all biological, physical and chemical factors that a species need to survive, stay healthy and reproduce. Okay, a niche is unique for species, which means no two species have exact identical niche. Niche plays an important role in conservation of organisms. If we have to conserve species in its native habitat, we should have knowledge about the niche requirements of the species and should ensure that all requirements of its niche are fulfilled. See, an ecological niche is the role and position of a species has in its environment. What the role it is playing, the birds, what roles they are playing, the earthworms here, see the man, the consumer, what they are. So it is ecological niche is what is the role and position of species. Role and position of species has in its environment. How it meets its needs for food and shelter and how it survives and how it reproduces. A species niche includes all of its interactions with the biotic and abiotic factors of its environment. Okay. So habitat niche, where it lives, food niche, what it eats or decomposes and what species it competes with, reproductive, how and when it reproduces, physical and chemical, temperature, landscape, land slope, humidity and other requirements. So it is unique for a species, which means no two species have exact identical niches. Okay, every species has a different one. Niche it plays an important role in conservation of organisms. So even if we have to conserve species in its native habitat, we should have knowledge about the niche requirements of the species. Okay. Now biome. So what is biome? There first we will look into. See, biome is a community of plants and animals that have common characteristics for the environment they exist in. They can be found over a range of continents. Biomes are distinct biological communities that have formed in response to a shared physical climate. Okay, it's a community of plants and animals, but they have common characteristics for the environment they exist, and they can be found over a range of continents. Okay, and there are distinct biological communities that are formed in response to shared physical climate. See what, like they have a same, we just saw there's common characteristic, पोलार का कॉमन क्या है तो उसमें ये लोग रहते हैं. In this case we will see Arctic, your rainforest, savanna, all these are biomes. Okay, it is a community of plants and animals having the same year climate. Rainforest, savanna, desert, then temperate, Temperate grassland, desert, sea, wet and it's going decreasing, and hot it is increase to cold. Arctic, taiga. This is the thing. Distribution based on temperature and precipitation है. Warm desert, tropical grassland, savanna. Based on temperature and precipitation. See, tropical rainforest has highest amount of precipitation, and warm desert it has negligible to low. Okay, this is the thing. And temperature polar में बहुत कम temperature है as compared to the deserts and southern regions on the pyramid below. So the terrestrial part of the biosphere is divisible into enormous regions called biomes, which are characterized by climate, okay, vegetation, animal life, and general soil type. No two biomes are alike. No two, these are biomes, no two biomes are alike. The climate determines the boundaries of biome and abundance of plants and animals found in each one of them. The most important climatic factors are temperature and precipitation. So name of the biome. First, tundra, northern and southernmost region of world. Okay, adjoining the ice-bound poles. Here we saw tundra. Okay, that is the thing. Southernmost region of the world adjoining the ice-bound poles. See, so flora and fauna के बारे में देखेंगे. Devoid of trees except stunted shrubs in the southern part of tundra biome. Ground flora includes lichen, we just studied that, mosses and sedges. The typical animals are reindeer, Arctic fox. So, do you know what's reindeer? See, Arctic fox, polar bear, snowy owl, lemming. Lemming is this one. It's a small rodent usually found in or near the Arctic and tundra biome. See, these are the things. These are lemmings. Then Arctic hare, it's like a rabbit. Then ptarmigan, reptiles and amphibians are almost absent. See, the typical animals are reindeer, Arctic fox, polar bear, snowy owl, lemming, Arctic hare and ptarmigan. Reptiles and amphibians are not there. They are almost absent. Okay, reptiles जो होते हैं और amphibians. See, Arctic hare and ptarmigan we will see. This is Arctic hare, rabbit-like in that tundra region. And this is ptarmigan. Okay. So taiga region, northern Europe, Asia and North America, moderate temperature than tundra region से moderate temperature है. Also known as boreal forest. Okay, boreal forest means adapted to withstand in frigid temperature for a year. These are also called snow forest or taiga. Taiga, it is a Russian name. So snow forest भी बोलते हैं, boreal forest भी बोलते हैं. The dominating vegetation is coniferous evergreen, mostly spruce. Spruce, this is like spruce is a tree of genus Specia. See, coniferous evergreen trees in boreal regions में found होता है. ये ऐसे spruce है. Then spruce with some pine and firs. See, these are fir है ये, and this is a pine tree. You should know this how, because when we visualize it, we actually remember it. Then the fauna consists of birds, hawks, fur-bearing carnivorous, little mink. Okay, we will see little mink. This is hawk. This is hawk. This is little mink. Then what is elk, puma, Siberian tiger, wolverine, wolves, etc. So this one is elk. It is found there. Puma, wolverine. Okay, these are the things. Wolverine, like it's like a bear. So these are found in taiga. Okay, frigid है वहाँ पे भी snow ज़्यादा है, but moderate temperature than tundra. Then temperate deciduous forest extends over central and southern Europe, eastern North America, western China, Japan, New Zealand, etc. Moderate average temperature and abundant rainfall. The flora includes trees like beech, oak, maple and cherry. So beech, see, this is the beech tree. This is the oak tree. These are maple trees. Maple trees have many types of maple trees. Okay, they see so many color yellow. There are many types of maple trees. This is a cherry tree. Most animals are the familiar vertebrates and invertebrates. They are generally the most productive agriculture areas of the earth, this temperate deciduous forest. So extends over Central and Southern Europe, Eastern North America, Western China, Japan, New Zealand, etc. Moderate average temperature and abundant rainfall. Then tropical rainforest. Tropical areas in the equatorial region which is abundant with life, temperature and rainfall high. Tropical rainforest covers 7% of the earth's surface, okay? And 40% of world's plant and animal species. Just remember 40% of world's animal. Multiple story of broadleaf evergreen tree species are in abundance. Most animals and epiphytic plants are concentrated in the canopy or treetop zones. See, epiphytic plants means this one, the orchids जो है, mosses. Okay, these are the things. Mostly found in rainforest, they grow on the branches also like this. 89% of terrestrial epiphyte species are flowering plants. Okay. Then savanna, tropical region. Savanna is most extensive in Africa. Just remember savanna, Africa. Grasses with scattered trees and fire-resisting thorny shrubs. The fauna include a great diversity of grazers and browsers such as antelopes, buffalo, zebras, elephants, and rhinoceros. The carnivores include lion, cheetah, hyena, and mongoose, and many rodents. Okay, carnivorous जो है include lion, cheetah, hyena, and mongoose, and many rodents. And fauna जो है grazers and browsers. Sorry, this one. Grazers जो है buffaloes, zebras, elephants, and rhinoceros, which are herbivorous. Now grasslands, North America, Ukraine, temperate conditions with low rainfall. So grasses dominate the vegetation. The fauna include large herbivores like bison, antelope, cattle, rodents, prairie dog, voles, and rich and diverse array of ground nesting birds. Bison, antelope, we will see these are antelopes, and these are biomes in grasslands. Okay, you will find them. Then desert. Continental interiors with very low and sporadic rainfall with low humidity. The days are very hot but nights are cold. The flora is drought resistant such as cactus, euphorbias, sagebrush, and fauna reptiles, small mammals and birds मिलेंगे वहाँ पे. और these are drought resistant. Resist करते हैं drought को, जैसे cactus, euphorbias है. Okay, this euphorbias, sagebrush, these are the kind of things. Aquatic zones. Aquatic systems are not called biomes, okay? However, they are divided into distinct life zones with regions of relatively distinct plant and animal life. The major difference between the various aquatic zones are due to salinity, levels of dissolved nutrients, water temperature, depth of sunlight penetration. See, aquatic ecosystem and their characteristic. Freshwater ecosystem जो है, freshwater ecosystem are classified as low-tick, moving water. Low-tick यानी moving water, or lentic, still or stagnant water. Remember this one, low-tick, moving water, lentic, still or stagnant water. So low-tick water system, that is moving water, includes freshwater streams, springs, rivulets, creeks, brooks, and rivers. And lentic, that is stagnant water bodies, include pools, ponds, some swamps, bogs, and lakes. They vary considerably in physical, chemical, and biological characters. Okay, we'll look what is a stream. A stream is a body of water with surface water flowing within the bed. And a creek is a small to medium-sized stream. और जो brook है, it is a small stream. और bog क्या है? Is a wetland that accumulates deposit of dead plant material. Okay, this is the thing. And marine ecosystem. Nearly 3/4 of Earth's surface is covered by ocean. You know that, with an average depth of 3,750 meter and with salinity 35 parts per thousand, about 90% of which is sodium chloride. Okay, these are marine ecosystem. Estuaries क्या है? We have seen it before. Coastal bays, river mouths, and tidal marshes form the estuaries. In estuaries, fresh water from rivers meet ocean water, and the two are mixed by action of tides. Estuaries are highly productive as compared to the adjacent river or sea. Then coral reefs and mangroves. See, coral reefs are this kind of underwater ecosystem characterized by reef building corals. Okay, They form a reef. Reefs are formed of colonies of coral polyps held together by calcium carbonate. And then the mangrove ecosystem. These are most productive and biological diverse ecosystem on the planet. They grow in variety of depths, okay? And their roots sticking up out of the mud with fish and crustaceans जो है host of other species living between their tree trunks के अंदर रहते हैं वो these fishes and crustaceans. So biosphere it is a part of earth where life can exist. Okay, biosphere, atmosphere, lithosphere, hydrosphere जहाँ पे मिलते हैं, that is biosphere, and where life exists. Biosphere represents a highly integrated and interacting zone comprising of atmosphere, air, hydrosphere, water, and lithosphere, land. It is a narrow layer around the surface of the earth. Okay, it's a narrow one. If you visualize the earth to be the size of an apple, the biosphere would be as thick as its skin. Life in the biosphere is abundant between 200 meters below the surface of the ocean and about 6,000 meters above sea level. Biosphere is absent at extremes of north and south poles, the highest mountains and the deepest oceans, since existing hostile conditions there do not support life. Occasionally, spores of fungi and bacteria do occur at great height, beyond 8,000 meters, but they are not metabolically active and hence represent only dormant life. The energy required for the life within the biosphere comes from the sun. The nutrient necessary for living organisms come from air, water and soil. The same chemicals are recycled over and over again for life to continue. Living organisms are not uniformly distributed throughout the biosphere. Only a few organisms live in the polar regions, where the tropical rainforests have an exceeding rich diversity of plants and animals, 50% of global biodiversity. Okay, living organisms uniformly distributed नहीं हैं throughout biosphere. Few of them live in polar regions and tropical rainforest. It actually consists of 50%. Okay, rich diversity, 50% of global biodiversity. So here we end the chapter 1. The next video will be of chapter 2. Thank you.